and welcome to another episode of Dumb Tweets. I have taken a bit of a break. It's been over a month since I recorded the last episode, which I uploaded last week, so I haven't really given any updates, and I have been a little bit out of touch with everything, really. A lot of personal stuff going on, and I wanted to continue with the episode, so here I am for episode 7. And one update that I wanted to make was about the latest documentary debunking, or rather exploring more of the accusations going back to 1993, when MJ was accused by Jody Chandler. The documentary is called MJ Square One, and it was directed by Danny Wu. You can find the documentary link in the description, and you can find him on Twitter as well. So you might wonder what it's about. So basically, as I mentioned, it talks about the 93 case and how it all came to being, and based on that, it kind of dissects what happened with the whole thing, and how that kind of opened the door for what kind of became a nightmare to MJ, being accused and sued by a few more people, and then the latest one since his death. So I recommend it. It's very interesting if you don't have much idea of what happened in 93, or if you're on the fence, or even if you just open-minded enough to see more information than what the media is actually trying to feed you. Again, link is in the description. I recommend that you go see it. So today I'm going to, as usual, go over some tweets that I find kind of ridiculous, and I hope you guys are still enjoying the episodes. And again, if you have any that you think that would make the cut for dumb tweets, don't hesitate to send them my way, okay? All right, so let's excuse me, let's start. All right, the FBI literally corroborated the documents by the Santa Barbara police, which states pornography of minors, children, was found, though the author's choice word was erotica, were found at the ranch in his possession. And this has been debunked. This is not true. There was no erotica, there was no child porn. If there had been, they would have had some sort of evidence to prosecute him at the time, and they didn't. So there is actual court documents that deny this thesis that has been going around, I guess from the tabloids, or I don't know, wherever people get this information. So if you watch the Square One documentary, and it's in other sources too, you can actually see the transcripts that say that that information was false. So somebody defending MJ replied, "Had child pornography been found at his house, he would have been jailed right away, you dumbass. It's illegal to possess child porn." And this person replies, his lawyers got around it by A, claiming it wasn't child porn, just art erotica, and B, claiming he never even looked at it, there was no fingerprints on them. Let me tell you, even if I did look at them, I wouldn't have that shit in my house. Okay, this tweet doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically she's saying that they were so clever that they got around it by saying that it was art. Well, it's either porn or child pornography, or it isn't. There's no in between. And if art books with erotica were found in the house, whether he looked at them or not, there is a whole history of art where eroticism is portrayed. Naked bodies. If you go to Italy, if you go to any museum, there's statues, there's paintings of naked people. I mean, you can't make up this stuff. The level of people's ignorance or the choice to being dumb, it's astounding. I honestly, like, sometimes I don't even know why they're being so dense. Is it because they don't have enough nerve cells in the brain, or they just choose not to think? I don't know. And yeah, so that's the first one. Let's move on to the next tweet. This is fucking shameful. At xThrillerX7. People respond to trauma in weird ways. Your armchair diagnosis is not appreciated. Michael Jackson was a child rapist. Anyone who defends him is scum. So I can't really comment on the armchair comment because I don't really know what he's referring to. I didn't have the first part of the tweet he's replying to. But again, child rapist based on what? Where's the proof? You people, where's the proof? Just because somebody says something happened doesn't mean it happened. And think about it. Somebody like Michael Jackson, who surrounded himself with so many children, if he really was a pedophile, he would have molested a lot more children. And there's no other people coming forward, just people who go and sue for money first. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of thinking to understand that there was extortion. And they knew where to hit. They hit the most vulnerable place for Michael Jackson. You know, he was such an easy target. And I mean, defending him makes us scum, okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. To be honest, I don't get offended by people like this. To me, it's not about me or about anybody who defends MJ. It's not even about MJ. This is about their perception of the world. It's about their projection of the way things are. It has nothing to do with anybody else, really. Hanging around kids doesn't make you a molester. Sharing a bed with kids that aren't yours in your underwear, however, again, where did you get the information that he hung out in bed with children in his underwear? Because I haven't never come across any of this information. And I read a lot about Michael Jackson, about the allegations, and I've never really, except for maybe tabloids or people who were talking out of their asses, where is the evidence? I mean, where are you coming up with this? Alright. Guy was a pedophile. I, for one, am glad he's dead. And for those screaming, what proof? Go ask Macaulay Culkin. I would say go ask Webster, but Webster was actually the show. The name of the actor is actually Emmanuel Lewis, and they both always claim that MJ was totally appropriate with them. He was their friend. They had fun with him. He was never inappropriate. He never did anything. So I guess somebody on Twitter knows better than the people who actually were around him. And then somebody replied to him saying, Macaulay and Emmanuel both disagree with you. And this guy says, when given money as a settlement, people tend to abide by the settlement rules. An example, not saying bad things about said individual. He didn't settle with Macaulay Culkin or Emmanuel Lewis. Like, again, what? And they were both actors, so they didn't even need the money. So I don't... speechless. Everyone who settles out of court on false allegations of celebrity child molestation is innocent. Don't you know? Give me a break. Alright, so we're going back to the 93 settlement. And I've already said this in previous tweets, but I'm going to reiterate. Because this was a civil suit. A civil suit, which means that the case could have still gone to criminal trial if there had been corroborating evidence. There was no corroborating evidence, even though Sneddon looked everywhere. There was nothing, okay? Second of all, the settlement, the way that it was, the civil suit took precedence before, the civil suit happened before the criminal trial. So they tried to make it so that the criminal trial would go first and then the civil trial would go after it. But the judge dismissed that and let the civil suit go before. And if Michael had gone ahead with the civil trial, when he was deposed, he would have had to give away his defense strategy, which would have been used for the criminal trial, which would have been the one that was important, because that's the one that decides whether he's going to jail or if he's being freed. So he had to settle so that it could not affect the other trial. And he never went to criminal trial because there wasn't enough proof. There wasn't enough evidence, and the Chandlers didn't even pursue it. So there you go. These tweets get tiring. I don't know where people get them from. I mean, I guess they just read it once and they just keep repeating it. And 10 years ago today, a pedophile accused of molesting multiple young boys died of a drug overdose. He used his money and power to silence victims, keep himself out of prison, and those around him enable him to abuse multiple boys. Hashtag 10 years without Michael Jackson. I think I said everything I have to say about this. So, seriously, people, find a hobby. I mean, you might say, yeah, but you're here spending your energy defending him. Yeah, but us defending him didn't just come out of nowhere, being like, hey, let's defend Michael Jackson for the 2005 trials. Even when Robson and Safe Chuck first came out in 2013, I didn't even hear about it. I mean, I don't really have cable. I haven't had cable in a long time. I don't really like watching the news, and I had other things on my plate, so I didn't even hear about it. I mean, to me, the fact that most people didn't even hear about it means that it was completely irrelevant. Nobody believed them back then, so they had to make it into a movie for people to pay attention. So, I mean, same case, different medium, right? And going back to my point, yeah, I'm here defending him because there seems to be a need for the truth to be out there. Again, I am a fan. Okay, I've been for 26 years. But this is not why I'm defending him. I'm not some blind, dumbass fan who doesn't care about child welfare. I know people who've been sexually abused by a close adult. An adult that's been close to them. I know what this does to a person. I would never defend somebody who did that. But I do believe that innocent people get accused of things they haven't done. It happens all the time, especially for money. It could be money, it could be power, it could be a vendetta. There's many reasons, unfortunately, people do this stuff. And I think it's important, it's just as important to defend those people who are falsely accused as defending those who are abused. I think we have to kind of keep an eye on our moral compass, because sometimes people get so wrapped up in righteousness that they forget what's right, if you know what I mean. All right, so last one for the day. No, he was found not guilty. Several jurors said he probably molested kids, but MJ's high-paid lawyers were able to plant reasonable doubt specifically about the Gavin Arvizo allegations, which is the only thing the jury was allowed to rule on. Well, first of all, the 93 case was brought into court too, so they weren't just looking at the evidence from the Arvizo case. Also, this is not true. The jurors after the trial were asked, and they all believed he was innocent. I think I heard somewhere, but don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but I read somewhere that a couple of them flipped and said that they thought he was guilty. They were offered money to talk on the tabloids. So there you have it. The fight goes on. I think things are kind of normalizing. I have a sense that things are kind of normalizing, and I'm actually looking forward to what Taj Jackson will be doing with his documentary. I'm hoping that that's going to close this door once and for all and let the man rest in peace. I hope you guys enjoyed today's tweets. If you have any comments and you want to share any tweets, again, feel free to contact me. This is my handle right there. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram, sorry. And yeah, if you like it, share it, hit like, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again next episode. Take care and peace to y'all.